Hello, I just want to share a few of my thoughts of what I think is going on at the minute. Um, I'm having to take a little bit of time out from promoting veganism, which is a bit of a shame because it's an important message to send out to people. But this is seems to be more important at the minute because this is something that's affecting me directly. Well, it's affecting all of us directly. Um, so I just want to share a bit of my thoughts about what's going on at the minute, what I see is going on at the minute. And yeah, now first of all, I just want to try and explain how the powers that be, how those in power view us, view the people. Now, those in power do not care about the colour of our skin, our religion, our sexual orientation, our class status, etc. In their eyes, we're all just equally worthless. They don't care about any of us. So let's not pretend that what's going on here has got anything to do with because they care about us, because it hasn't. And going back to the class thing, the only real two classes that I can see in society, that I'm aware of, actually, are the ruling class, which is our masters, and its subject class, which is us, the people. Sure, some of us are more privileged than others, but we're still all under their rule nonetheless. Now, once you accept this premise that there's a ruling class and a subject class, you also have to accept that really none of us. I'm try and make this try not sound too crazy when I say this, but you have to accept that none of us are anything any more than slaves in their eyes. To them, we're just cattle, we're just slaves. Yeah, some of us get we're all working slaves. We get a percentage of what we keep. We're allowed to keep certain freedoms, and because of that, see, this can confuse us into falsely believing that we're free. But the truth, the sobering truth is that is not the reality at all. The actual reality is that we're all just cattle working on a tax farm. The world divided up into various tax farms, and we're there working away for our masters. And like I say, because we get to keep a percentage of what we earn, we get confused and we falsely end up believing that we're free. Now, I don't know how hard that is for you to accept, but for me it's very easy to see that. So once you can see that we're all just slaves working away for these slave masters, you have to ask yourself the question: why do you think our masters, the owners of these plantations, which are in this case is the countries, as a country is just a plantation. A country as a government, as a state construct. It's just there. It's just another name for a plantation. So do you honestly think that the people who own these plantations are going to let the slaves, us, the subject class, know what is going on? And the answer is no. They're not going to let us know what's going on. Now, what we're seeing with this psychological warfare that's been waged upon us at the minute with this corona narrative, it's just merely a psychological operation of the ruling class. It's the ruling class flexing its power over us, flexing its power over its subjects, us. And those of us that aren't buying into this panic narrative seem to be getting shunned at the minute by those of us that are. Now, so why aren't I buying into this prescribed narrative? It's simply because our rulers, the people who rule us, will say anything, they will do anything to keep hold of and gain more power over us. They will lie about anything and everything. This has been proved time after time. The government's always getting caught out for lying, so why do we think this is any different? So you've got to ask yourself is, why do you think that you are so important that the government would not lie to you? Now, the government. Do you really think the government's going to come, send its agents out and knock on your door to let you know of the agenda that they're up to? These are just billionaires in power. It's all just about money and power to them. They just don't care about us. So we need to quit pretending that we think that we do, that they do care about us. No, none of them are going to tell you what's going on. It's up to us to find out what's going on, find out the truth. The truths are not going to come to us. They're not going to broadcast the truth to us over the television, over the radio, over the newspapers. They're not going to let us know what's going on, because then obviously they're going to lose power and they'll lose money, and that's not an option for them. But what I think's more scary at the minute is this virus. Yeah, it's a virus. But what's a lot scarier than the virus itself is the lengths that these people in power will go to prove to us that this virus is real. You've only just got to look at other false flags. If you go throughout history and look at false flags that have happened over the years. I'm not going to talk about any of them specifically. If you want to research them, you will. But the government and those in power will go to any lengths to prove that threat that they want to protect us from is real. The threat won't exist, or it's a very minimal risk. What they will do, they will blow up, they will exaggerate it, they will create it to create this massive problem, and then they will come along and save us from this problem that they've created. I believe it's called Hegelian dialects or something like that. Now, this threats that they're going to say that they want to protect us from this threat, which is not true at all. This threat isn't even real. What is real is the threat of their power and what the lengths they're willing to go to prove to us that this threat is real, and the power that they're going to gain over us from us believing that this threat is real. It's quite hard to explain, but I hope you understood that. And now going back to this corona pretext, because this corona, it's got absolutely nothing to do with any virus. This is a lot bigger than that. It's a lot scarier than that. This is all about setting up a new order. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I know what this order is. None of us know. All I know is that we're being lied to about it being a coronavirus. It's got absolutely nothing to do with it, with a virus, the virus. 150,000 people die every single day on the planet Earth. So why are we meant to think? Are we meant to think that anything above 150,000 is like some kind of tipping point? Anything above 150,000, we've got to close the world after that because that's too many. That's complete nonsense. So let's not fall for it. This is basically just another one of their traps that they're setting up to restrict our liberties even more, take away any freedoms that we've got, and to condition us into accepting this martial law that's going to come along with it, which is already underway right now. And it's a scary thing. So let's try and keep this in perspective. Let's try and be smart about it. And let's not walk straight into this 1984 COVID nightmare. Thank you for listening.